guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the Monster Mash book tag. I was tagged by PeterClarkTheWriter, so thank you Peter for tagging me. I'm really excited to do this book tag. This tag was originally created by the restricted section, so I will have both the original video and Peter's video down below. I highly recommend going to check out Peter's video because it is so fun and original. Question number 1. I was working in the lab late one night. What's a book that kept you up at night? For this, I'm going with The Unbecoming of Myra Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. And this book kept me up at night kind of like in two ways. It literally kept me up at night because I read this throughout the entire night, and also it kept me up at night because I couldn't sleep. Like, I couldn't put it down, and if I did put it down, I couldn't sleep. This book is about a young 16-year-old girl named Myra, and she wakes up one day in the hospital after going through a traumatic event that killed her boyfriend and her two friends. So she's trying to figure out kind of what happened, and as she's doing this, she's also going through a lot of PTSD, and this is in first-person point of view. So Myra is actually going crazy in some scenes, and we're pretty much going crazy with her because we're in her head, and there are just creepy scenes and really eerie scenes and scenes that just make you like, oh, what's going on? So plus it starts off with a Ouija board scene, and of course that in itself is just creepy. Question number 2. My eyes beheld an eerie sight. What is the weirdest or creepiest shit you've ever read in a book? For that, I'm going with It by Stephen King. This book was creepy and weird, and now I hate clowns. It pretty much scarred me for life, honestly. Question number 3. Get a jolt from my electrodes. Name a book that completely shocked or surprised you. For this, I'm going with Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I didn't think I would like this book, and that's kind of what surprised me. I thought I was going to get scared, but I was pleasantly surprised and I really liked it. What surprised me is that even though there are some really eerie and creepy scenes, and the pictures, like this picture is just one of those pictures that just gives me the creeps. But there's also some really whimsical scenes as well, so I loved the balance between that, like the dark, ominous feeling, and then also the kind of like more whimsical, colorful scenes when you're with Miss Peregrine's and in the home. Question number 4. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. Name your favorite monster or villain from a book. For this question, I am going with Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, but I'm going with Dolores Umbridge. She is one of my favorite villains. We're introduced to her in the 5th book, and every time she came into a scene, I just got so much hatred for her. I've never hated a villain so much as I do Dolores Umbridge, except for Queen Mauve in the Throne of Glass series. If you haven't read Throne of Glass series, I highly recommend it. Question number 5. Whatever happened to my Transylvania Twist? Name a book that was super hyped when it came out, but no one talks about anymore. For this, I'm gonna go with Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. This stays around like the Halloween theme. There are vampires and werewolves and stuff like that, but not a lot of people talk about Twilight as much anymore, just because, I mean, came out 10 years ago. There was a lot of hype when the 10th anniversary Life and Death was released, even though I know people still really love this series, but I don't see it as much anymore. Question number 6. They did the mash. Name your favorite book that is a mash-up of 2 or more genres. For this, I'm going with The Host by Stephanie Meyer. This is science fiction with a little bit of romance. I absolutely loved this book. The concept to me is really interesting. Basically, aliens have already taken over the human race, and there are just a few that have survived, and they're trying to pretty much survive without being taken and turned into a host for these aliens. Question 7. It was a graveyard smash. What is your favorite horror story? Like I said, I don't really have my favorite horror stories because I don't like horror, but I did love Goosebumps growing up, and if I wanted to scare myself, Goosebumps was a good way to go. It got a little creepy. So Goosebumps by R.L. Stine was definitely probably my more favorite horror books, even though they're for children. Which reminds me, did any of you guys ever watch the movie or the TV show Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think it came on Nickelodeon, but some of those episodes were really creepy. The one I remember the most is the episode where like the main character goes into like that dollhouse and she starts turning into a doll. I don't know, really freaky. Question number 8. The scene was rockin', all were digging the sounds. What's your favorite song based on a book? I really love soundtracks to movies based on books, like book to movie adaptation soundtracks. So the Narnia soundtrack is amazing. Of course, Harry Potter soundtrack is amazing as well, and the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. And all these are kind of, you know, within the realm of Halloween, I guess. There's magic, and of course there's like different creatures and dragons and stuff like that. Question 9. Tell them Boris sent you. What is your go-to book recommendation? I'm gonna just throw out a few out there. Right now, my go-to book recommendation, not necessarily Halloween related, but it could be because it's got that like you know, fantasy element to it, but that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. If you haven't read Throne of Glass, go read it. The books get better and better and better. So if you're not really into book 1 and not really liking book 2, just really try and tough it through the first and the second one, because book 3, 4, and 5 will just blow your mind. And then of course I recommend Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I think that is just a really good fun series to read during the holidays. When October starts, I really feel kind of a Harry Potter reread, and it doesn't help that I recently bought Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the illustrated edition by Jim Kay. So I am really in a Harry Potter mood right now, and if you're wanting something more kind of short standalone, then definitely Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is a collection of graphic novels, and the pictures are beautiful, amazing, gory, kind of a little gruesome. It's really great. If you want the full effect, I kind of recommend reading it at night in the dark. That's kind of what I did, and that was enough to kind of scare me a little bit. If you love horror, this may not be horror enough for you, but if you're like me and you're not into horrors or thrillers or anything like that, like Goosebumps scares you, then this may be a really good one to pick up. Okay, and the last 2 questions. Question number 10. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. Who do you tag? I'm gonna go ahead and tag some people on Twitter, but if you are really interested in doing this tag, I think it's a lot of fun, and I definitely think you should do it. And then question 11, bonus question. What is your favorite thing about Halloween? I really love the whole dressing up. I think it's a lot of fun. You can just go all out and just dress up, and it's fun. My work this year has decided to do a Despicable Me theme, so we're all dressing up like minions. I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. Comment down below. Let me know your favorite thing about Halloween, and I also want to know the scariest book that you have ever read and kept you up at night. I hope you enjoyed this tag, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!